Hi, and welcome to In the Kitchen with Chef Leo. On today's menu, we are going to prepare a seafood cake mixed with a nice summer spring salad with a citrus vinaigrette dressing. We're also going to prepare a grilled chicken that's going to give you an alternate version for those of y'all who don't like seafood. So we're going to start off today with our seafood cake. We have our ingredients here. We have claw crab meat. We have our shrimp. The shrimp has already been chopped. You want to make sure your shrimp are in bite-sized pieces because the smaller they are, the easier it is going to be for the cooking time. Then you also have salmon. Pre-cook your salmon to where your salmon is not too dry because remember, you're still going to cook it in the oil to make sure and it's going to dry out some. So first thing first, let's go ahead and start getting our ingredients mixed together. We got our lump crab meat. This is about 1 pound of lump crab meat, okay? You want to be careful with your crab meat to make sure that you run your fingers through them so to make sure no shell, because even though this is prepared, a lot of times sometimes you still have a little shell in it. Don't tear it up too much because you want that nice bite with each. Then you're going to add to it your salmon. Okay, add your salmon right on in there. Put those out of your way. Break down your bigger pieces so you have it nice and it's basically about the same consistency of your crab meat. Then we're going to add our shrimp to it. Now we know that the crab is cooked and your salmon is cooked, but that's the good thing about shrimp, doesn't take as long to cook, so it won't matter how much. So you got roughly about 1 pound of crab meat, roughly 1 pound of salmon, and then roughly 1 pound of shrimp. All right, so now after you get everything mixed in your pan with your crab, your shrimp, and your salmon, we're gonna go ahead and add our breadcrumbs to this. Now the key to this is make sure you're mixing as you add your breadcrumbs. So we're gonna add some breadcrumbs and we're gonna add some panko crumbs. Then we're gonna mix this because the goal to it is when you add your wet ingredients to this, you wanna make sure it has a good consistency with wet and dry. And I'm gonna go ahead and add my chopped parsley. Let's mix this up real good. Now for your wet ingredients, you're gonna whisk in roughly about a cup of mayo, about a tablespoon of ground mustard. This is a garlic Dijon aioli that I like to use. You're gonna lose maybe about 1/4 of a cup of that. Do about 2 tablespoons of Old Bay, 1 egg. I'm gonna mix this together. And we're gonna do 1/2 of a lemon. Squeeze that right in here. Whisk or stir all this up together. Then you're gonna slowly add your wet to your dry ingredients. Add some, and you're gonna mix it up. I like to use my hands because that way I can feel the consistency. If I end up getting it too wet, then I add a little more breadcrumbs to it. If it's too dry, then you add more salt. And to know when it's ready, it automatically starts to hold together without you having to even hold it. And that's when you know you have a good consistency from your dry stuff and your wet stuff. You're gonna make sure you mix this good. And I know I'm using my hands, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do when you need to do it. I like to feel my product to make sure I'm getting the right consistency that I need to make sure it's what it needs to be. All right? So you're gonna get in there and get it real good with your hands. My grandma always told me you gotta get your hands in order to make sure it's good food. All right? It's like the old saying, go, put my foot in it, but this time put my hand in, all right? So, all right, now it's time for us to go ahead and form our cakes. I like to use an ice cream scoop because it gets it more consistent when it comes down to sizing. Especially when you got a lot of hungry people that's coming over, you want to make sure you have to get as much out of your mix as possible. Scoop it in, make sure you level it out. We're just going to place it here because before we put them in our pan, we're going to dip them in our panko to get a nice good old crust on them, all right? Now, the key to this is make sure that, once again, you're getting them as consistent as possible with sizing. Now I got a couple more friends coming over today, so we're gonna go ahead and get this prepared up so they can enjoy these good old seafood cakes when they're all ready now. So now let's go ahead and get prepared to cook these cakes. We're gonna get our eye turned on. Start off on high, then you're gonna turn it down. I'm gonna go ahead and get my pan in. Olive oil, I like to use olive oil. You can use whatever oil you want. I like to use olive oil because once again, with the bread and all that stuff, we want to make sure, trying to be as healthy as possible. Because Lord knows, my mama stay on my butt about my cholesterol and all that stuff. So we got to try to watch that. While the oil is getting hot, with your cake, what you're going to do is just put it in the palm of your hand, just like this, and flatten it out. Flatten out real nice, and then we're going to take both sides. Just like that, to make sure your panko is on both sides real good. You don't need to flatten them out too much because it's going to be nice. You want them to be nice and meaty, okay? And then also, you don't want to make sure that you don't flatten your cakes out too much because then it soaks up too much oil. And that's not what you want to do. So while your oil is getting hot, you want to make sure that you coat your breadcrumbs. And once again, you do not have to coat them, okay? You can always just keep it going, just straight to the pot, just like this. I want a little more crisp to my cakes. That's why I am coating them with the panko. And I use the panko instead of the breadcrumbs because the panko is better and they swell a little bit once they start to cook. And it gives you that better, nice golden brown look. That way you get those nice golden brown cakes like you like. Just like so. Put those in the pot. Don't overcrowd your pot because then you won't have your cakes cooking at a consistent rate. Okay? As your crab cakes are cooking, make sure you keep an eye on it because it's not going to take long. You want to make sure you pay attention because remember, the idea is to make sure you get your shrimps cooked because your crab and your salmon is already cooked to where it needs to be. All right? Oh, this is my song right here now. Now, I don't know if y'all know anything about this, but this is some good music. The music they play out nowadays, I ain't nothing. All right? So, you get our crab cakes, flip it. You don't want to have to flip them too much, so you want to make sure that when you're flipping, it's already golden brown on the other side because the idea, the heat is going to cook these shrimps real quick when it's frying. So you want to make sure you be careful, and you don't want to have to keep flipping and flipping and flipping because all that's going to do is it's going to cause more oil to get into your cakes, all right? All right, so now you got your crab cakes good. They should be nice and golden brown. Flip them over like that. Nice color. Nice color on them. As these finish off, we're going to take those out and then we're going to prepare our sauce to go on top. We're going to do a lemon caper aioli. Really, really good. It's a simple recipe that has lemon, capers, a little bit of mayonnaise, a little bit of sour cream, and then you season to your liking. That's all it takes. You mix it up real good, and it's going to be great to complement your seafood cakes. See our crab cakes, our seafood cakes are out of our pan, nice and golden brown. That's how you want them. So in our lemon caper aioli, we got our mayonnaise, sour cream. We're gonna add some capers. We do a little bit of lemon zest. Zest this up. Real good, lemon zest. This is a very lemony, but really, really good complement for your seafood cake. It's a simple sauce that this lady I used to work for in catering, her name is Gracie Young. She taught me this this particular recipe and this sauce, but I never was a person to eat capers. I'm from the country and capers is not something that we do. But once I taste it, it adds an extra level of flavor to your cake. It's really, really good. Some lemon juice in there, just like so. A little salt, a little pepper. Then we're gonna take this to our blender. We're gonna blend this up real quick. Just like that. You want to blend it up enough to where the capers are chopped up into your sauce. And it's good to go. Just like that, simple sauce, simple mix, and it's good to complement your thing with. So now we're gonna go ahead and get our chicken on to get it grilled on. Now this cast iron grill is the best thing anybody ever made. It's really, really great on gas stove where you can grill inside your home. You can grill inside your home and not have to worry about beating the heat outside. Especially living here in Vegas. You don't want to be outside grilling when it's 115 outside. So you can grill inside your home with a nice temperature and still get that grill feel. So in the meantime, while our chicken is grilling, we're going to go ahead and get our dressing ready. We're going to make a citrus vinaigrette, and it's basically 1 part white wine vinegar or with white balsamic. We're going to do about a cup of that. Cup of apple cider vinegar. Then we're going to do about a cup of concentrated orange juice. Add that in. We're going to do about 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. Then instead of sugar, we're going to use honey because it's a lot healthier. And Lord knows, like I said, my mom is only about my cholesterol. So we're going to use honey. A little salt. Little pepper. And we're going to go ahead and do that now, blend it up real good. Step our chicken. Look at that, beautiful. Now this chicken marinated overnight in mesquite marinade that was made by McCormick. And when I say this marinade is amazing, and it's going to complement your salad really, really good. Okay, because once this chicken is done, slice them up. We're going to lay it over on top of our salad. Have a beautiful presentation. Let's see. But our seafood cakes are ready. Our grilled chicken is ready. We got our components of our salad, so then our salad, and we have our dressing. So let's go ahead and get a nice presentation, get our whole salad ready to go. We're going to get some mesclun mix. Get our mesclun. We're going to go ahead and put this is some honey roasted pecans, some craisin, which is dried cranberries. Get some nice freshly chopped strawberries on here. Then we got some goat cheese. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take our dressing and we're going to drizzle our dressing right on top of our salad. Drizzle your dressing right on top of your salad. You can drizzle it how much you want. But you want to make sure you get a nice good old amount on there so you can get all that in there. Then I'm going to, after I drizzle my dressing, so I get as neat as possible, get that nice and drizzled. Go ahead and get my chicken, and I'm going to slice these up real good to go on top of my salad. I'm going to do a nice diagonal slice. Remember, presentation. You see how that looks? Chicken is nice and nicely cooked, and as you can see, it's still nice and juicy, which is what you want on the inside. We're going to take that, and that's going to go right on top of our salad. Slide my knife on under here, keep it all together. Slide it right on top of the salad, just like that. And there you go. Make one the same way for your crab cakes, which crab cakes they're going to put your seafood cakes. Once again, I'm saying crab cakes. I think y'all in my mind trying to get me to make some crab cakes. Seafood cakes, you're going to get your sauce. Then we're going to get our lemon paper aioli. As you can see, it's a little bit thicker because it was sitting in the refrigerator, nice and cool. See how thick that, nice and thick that is? We'll take that, nice little dollop right on top of each cake. Just like that. There you go, ready to eat. Bon appetit. We'll see you next time.